Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. The Beagle Brigade Act of 2023 was signed into law by President Biden in late December of 24. The law will fund the National Detector Dog Training Center in Newman, Georgia, helping keep foreign animal and plant diseases out of the U.S. The law was passed to continue funding the training of dogs to detect foreign animal and plant diseases at U.S. ports of entry. The bipartisan legislation will support the training of specialized groups of canine units stationed at airports and ports of entry to prevent the spread of foreign animal and plant diseases. The Beagle Brigade has been protecting animal agriculture at ports of entry since 1984, led by U.S. Customs and Border Protection agricultural specialists. The dogs help detect harmful plants, pests, and foreign animal diseases in luggage, carry-ons, and cargo from other countries. Pork producers employ a variety of biosecurity measures to keep foreign animal disease like African swine fever out of our herds. Further away at our nation's ports of entry, the Beagle Brigade helps ensure these diseases don't travel past our borders, said Lori Stievermeyer, the National Pork Producers Council president and pork producer from Easton, Minnesota, in a news release. As pork producers, we are grateful the Beagle Brigade will continue to keep our food supply safe and more secure for everyone. We thank Senators Warnock and Ernst, Congressman Bishop and Ferguson for their leadership on this legislation. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Got to watch a little lake effect in northwest Ohio and northeast Ohio today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at your forecast update. Strong north and northwest winds have developed here to start your Wednesday. The lake effect clouds and snow that we see in northwest Ohio coming all the way across Michigan and northern Indiana off of Lake Michigan. And so I think mostly light flurries there. But then we get into northeast Ohio, and the bulk of this is coming right off the fetch of Lake Erie. That's where we likely see some accumulation potential through the day today. This is a one-day setup. It looks like it diminishes pretty quickly as we move into tomorrow. If you are not in these lake effect prone regions, you should see a mix of clouds and sunshine through the day today. Cold air is still here. We are looking at partly to mostly sunny skies everywhere tomorrow. Then Friday, clouds are coming up from the southwest. A weather system passing through the deep south is going to keep all of its moisture south of the Ohio River. Most of it's down near the Gulf Coast, but I think the clouds that are coming through as a fringe of this may trigger a flurry in one or two spots, so keep your eye open for that on Friday. Saturday is dry. Sunday, Clipper system drags across the northern part of the state and into Ontario. Maybe some brief flurry activity from that as well, but no major snows. We are much colder for next week. A new round of Arctic air, some of the coldest air of the season so far, could settle in at midweek next week. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Now with our South American update, here's Joel Panorwood.
Time for your latest South American update thanks to Seed Genetics Direct, the #1 fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company. More information at seedgeneticsdirect.com. Gil Signorini of the Department of Horticulture and Crop Sciences at The Ohio State University gives us insight into the latest conditions down south. Brazil's grain prospects are demanding the attention of U.S. growers, he says. Stable weather driving Brazil toward a record-breaking soybean harvest. CONAB projecting soybean production at 166 million metric tons and corn at 119 million metric tons for 24-25's harvest, while early harvesting has already begun in Mato Grosso. Lower input cost, including a 10.9% drop in crop protection and a 4.7% decrease in fertilizer prices, could signal potential savings for U.S. farmers, but soybean seed and outsourced services remain more expensive. The Brazilian real's sharp devaluation pushed January and March future prices 22.7% lower than last year, and Brazilian growers holding onto stocks are expecting further currency drops. With that said, a record crop could soon flood global markets and put more pressure on U.S. prices. The full South American update online at ohioagnet.com. I'm Joel Panorwood reporting.
And thanks, Joel. Congress passed an extension of the 2018 Farm Bill in December, ensuring continued dairy margin coverage and providing much-needed disaster relief for dairy farmers affected by natural disasters. National Milk Producers Federation advocated for dairy's importance in nutrition through the Dietary Guidelines Report, promoted exports with significant CWT assisted sales and collaborated with Mexico to expand dairy trade opportunities. The National Milk Producers Federation also addressed critical supply chain challenges, introduced new resources to help farmers navigate H5N1, and opened nominations for task forces to guide farm program priorities. Also, the national average for retail regular gasoline moved off the lowest level since early May of 2021, rising 4.1 cents to 3.04 cents per gallon as of Monday, January 6th, an 8-week high. The price was 2.6 cents below the level recorded in the same week last year. The U.S. average on-highway diesel fuel price rose for a second week, jumping 5.8 cents to a 10-week high of $3.56 a gallon as of yesterday. The price point was 26.7 cents lower year over year, the Energy Information data showed. Now, better than expected U.S. ISM Services Index for December also contributed to the optimism about future demand despite inflationary pressures. Economic activity in the services sector expanded for the 6th consecutive month, according to data released by the Institute for Supply Management on Tuesday. And if or when President-elect Donald Trump imposes new tariffs on China, analysts at Rabo Research expect China will retaliate immediately and target commodities, especially soybeans. Soybean prices and planted acreage would fall if President-elect Donald Trump follows through on plans to place tariffs on imports from China. Trump has posted on social media in recent days that he plans to announce new tariffs after his inauguration later this month. The impact of Chinese tariffs on American soybeans may be less severe than 2018-19 on United States producers, mainly because China has made itself less reliant on U.S. soybeans. Rabo noted China already has large state reserves and has increased imports from Brazil. China also is adjusting some of its feed formulas to rely less on soy meal. Still, Rabo cites a new trade war with China would drop soybean prices $1.50 to $2 a bushel and reduce soybean planting by as many as 5 million acres. Rabo's analysts expect Trump will follow through on his promises to place new tariffs on imports if Trump imposes new tariffs on China. Rabo's analysts expect China to counter with potential 25% tariff on U.S. grains and oil seeds. When tariffs hit in 2018, it curtailed soybean tariffs for 2 years as agricultural trade nearly came to a halt. Rabo noted farmers cut soybean production by 20% in the 2019 planting season. In mid-May 2019, soybean prices fell to nearly $8 a bushel, the lowest since 2008. Exports to China didn't rebound until the 2020-21 marketing year. Trump administration responded by paying farmers $23 billion for lost exports over 2018 and 2019.
Watch your step, Ohio. Winter weather is here, so let's keep your team from slipping on the job. Make sure to examine your work areas daily and clear hazards that could result in a potential fall. Hoses, cords, buckets, farm tools, and equipment can all pose a problem. As the days get darker, you'll want to replace any poor lighting, too. Keep walkways and entrance areas clear, dress for the weather, and stay safe and warm. This safety tip brought to you by the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. Visit pwc.ohio.gov for more safety resources.
Here's farmer and businessman James Wood.
We farm about 3,500 acres. There's pipelines everywhere. The contractor working on my property did not have the lines located before he began work, and it resulted on a strike on a natural gas pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
Joining me from Ohio Corn and Wheat is Wendy Osborne, Director of Market Development. Wendy, thanks for joining us. This is the time of the year when a lot of producers are scheduling, trying to figure out what they're going to do next year. As we look at a market out there for corn, correct me if I'm wrong, we're currently still producing more worldwide than we currently need. And for the U.S., we need exports and we need domestic use. What's the position of Ohio Corn and Wheat on that topic?
Like you said, we produce more corn and wheat than we can consume. So trade is critical for U.S. agriculture.
Boy, when we talk about trade, China's always been a big customer, and they seem to have enough power to buy where they want. How competitive are we with our competitors now in the market for a customer as big as China?
China's always been a big importer of corn, and over this past year, we've seen them shifting and buying a lot from Brazil. So definitely an important topic. Mexico is also our largest corn buyer, and Canada is our largest ethanol buyer. Last year, China did make a large purchase here of wheat, specifically soft red winter wheat, which is what we grow here in Ohio. So all those relationships with Mexico, Canada, and China, again, being really large buyers, are really important. So trade policy is really important.
And Wendy, I guess when you ran through the Mexico and Canada numbers, some of what they're buying, a lot of contributing to use of it, are actually products that we produce and then have the ability to sell in the world market. It's nice to have that use so close to home, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's how important trade policy is, and developing those strong relationships with other countries and having good trading partners, because again, the proximity to Mexico and Canada and the trade agreement that we have with them has been really successful and helped U.S. agriculture grow. And we hope to keep those relationships strong here in the future.
Wendy, as always, thanks for the update, and thanks for all the work that you do and your organization does on behalf of Ohio corn farmers. Today's market analysis is brought to you by Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. Now let's check in with Ryan Martin.
Grain markets had quite the session on Tuesday, starting lower across the board. Corn and wheat making it back into positive territory ever so slightly at the close of business, and beans coming well off of the lows, only fractionally to $0.015 down overall. What was it all about? That is a very, very good question. Overall, we did see the markets holding mixed without much fanfare. The USDA report coming on Friday. Census U.S. crop exports in November were better than expected. U.S. official corn exports totaled 185 million bushels in November, up 43 million year on year. Using FGIS data in December, most experts are pegging the official December corn export number at 217 million bushels, which would be a record for the month. SEP to DEES exports are pegged at 730 million bushels, up 30% year on year. The census soybean exports in November, 363 versus 274 last year. Wheat exports, 49 million bushels versus 44 the prior year. So that is good numbers. But remember, we have known that exports are above last year's pace, and we felt that Mexico was front-running corn, China was front-running beans because of the looming tariff situation. So that should not have been a super big surprise. I think what it did is try and put the bears in backpedal mode a little bit as we went through the midday and afternoon trading session yesterday. Otherwise, weather in South America continues to be a good talking point. Dryness in Argentina has been highlighted in recent weeks, but there was decent rain that fell across western Cordoba and producing fringe areas of southwestern Argentina the prior night. So that also took a little bit of the shine off of a bearish position. And we're also looking at more position squaring happening in the next couple of days before the Friday USDA reports. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. In the overnight markets at the open, March corn 4.57 3/4, down 1/4 cent. May down 1/2, 4.65 1/4. December new crop up 1/4 cent at 4.46 1/2. March beans 9.94 3/4, down 2 1/2. May also down 2 1/2, trading at $10.05 1/4 cent. November new crop down a penny and 1/4 at 10.10 1/4 cent. The March wheat, if you still have any, up 1/2 at 5.43. July new crop up 1/2, 5.63 1/2. Carry that out to September, and you're up 1/4 cent at 5.77 1/4 cent. As we look to the livestock, February cattle 195.57, up 37. April up 50 cents at 197.77, and June up 55 cents at 192.77. February lean hogs 79.17, down 47. April down 15 cents at 85.72. March feeder cattle up $2.37 to $267.92. The April feeder cattle up $2.27 at $268.47. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.